Hello, Dearborn Heights residents. Hope everything's okay. Hope you had a great summer. We're here today doing a chief chat with Chief of Police Jerrod Hart, and also our fire chief, Mr. Dave Brogan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know it's the first we had in a long time. So I know there's a lot of stuff been going on in the city. You know, one of the biggest things is safety. So Chief Hart, you know, I know that residents have been bringing that up. You know, I know school's starting soon. So what would you like the message to go out, you know, to the public?
Yeah, I think most recently what we're seeing is a lot of issues between pedestrians and vehicles. So car versus pedestrian accidents. So it's very important to remind everyone to use the crosswalks. Don't try to cross mid-block and at driveways, etc. Get up to those crosswalks. Pay attention to the signals, the walk, don't walk. They're there for a reason, they're there for your own safety. And whether you're driving a bicycle, a car, or you're walking on foot, mixing with traffic, we have to be defensive at all times when we're engaging in those activities. Because even though we have a new law about distracted driving, we're still seeing some people that are still operating cell phones or shooting FaceTime videos or whatever they're doing when they're supposed to be driving. Mm-hmm. And it's very important for your safety to be out there and to be observant.
So Chief Brogan, I've noticed that, you know, we've had some few accidents in the last few months, you know, some recently. You know, what are some of the stuff that you guys see on the road, you know, from accidents?
Yeah, so when we talk about safety, like Chief Hart said, but there's just the direct impact on the people and on the families themselves. It's just it's a devastating event for the person. If they survive, they still could have a long-term recovery. It could have lifelong injuries that result and require lifelong care. And it's for something as simple as crossing mid-block instead of crossing in the crosswalk. And so we just want to be sure that everyone really takes these things seriously. You kind of get numb to hearing the message, but when something like this does happen, it's just such an incredible impact on the patient, on the patient's family. I know that on one of the ones, sometimes there's family members that are witnessing these things that happen, and they're left with scars as well. And it's just very traumatic for everyone involved. And so, you know, we're very fortunate where we live. We have Children's Hospital, we have Detroit Receiving, we have Corwell Dearborn that are high-level trauma centers, and so we can get these patients there and they get the top-level care that you can find anywhere in the country. Our paramedics are all very highly trained, so we've had people survive these incidents, but it's still a tremendous impact on everyone.
So I'd like to ask both of you chiefs, you know, so I know school's starting very soon, and what kind of message, I know a lot of, you know, there's kids now just getting their driver's license, you know, what kind of message would you like to tell the students?
Yeah, is to just constantly be observant. Take the responsibility that's been put on your shoulders as the operator of a motor vehicle very seriously, because it can be deadly if you don't. You would have to live with because the Chief Brogan is right. There's an impact not only on the victim and on the victim's family, but also the drivers. Our two most recent incidents where drivers had green lights on Telegraph Road and then people were crossing mid-block. Our drivers in those situations were very upset, as you would imagine. They didn't wake up that day and decide that they were going to be involved in a traffic crash. So when these things happen suddenly, even when you're doing everything right, imagine if somebody's distracted driving. Imagine if we're a passenger in a car and we've distracted our friend who just has their driver's license, you know, and they cause an accident or they weren't alert. So it's a huge responsibility, and it's one that I feel that generationally people are losing sight of. They're driving a 2,000 or 3,000 pound weapon down the street, for a lack of better words, and you know there's some very serious consequences to that if they don't pay attention.
So Chief Brogan, I mean, anything you'd like to tell you know, the youth, you know, just getting their new license, you know, especially a bunch of kids driving around, you know, together in vehicles, like, you know, some of the stuff that you've seen in the last years.
Yeah, a lot of times people tend to have a tendency to believe that this not going to happen to them, or they don't realize the seriousness of the consequences that could happen from just a momentary lapse in judgment. You could be a very good kid, always doing the right thing, and then you either, whether it be just inexperience, or whether you're speeding, or whether you're doing something silly, other kids in the car playing around, you can have something happen in just the blink of an eye that's going to change your life forever, and you have to be constantly mindful of it. And you're probably going to have some close calls too as you're learning to drive. And when you're inexperienced, you have to get all those experiences to get better. And so it's good to just always be mindful, and to think, if you've had a close call, to think, boy, I'm so lucky that whatever just happened, and here we are, everyone's okay, and really learn from that experience. And when you just think about that and internalize it, it really helps to make you a better driver overall.
Yeah, if I can just add something, Mayor, is I do a lot of walking, and where I walk is generally a rural area, but sometimes walk within cities and urban areas. I have a reflective vest that I wear. I actually have one that lights up and flashes, because anything that I can do as a pedestrian to increase the fact that I can get home safely, right, is also my responsibility as well. And it may seem kind of weird for people to walk on sidewalks, and cross streets with reflective gear on or a flashing vest. But what it does is it enhances the awareness of those individuals that are driving cars around you. And bicycles, having a tail light and a headlight on, at dusk and into darkness is very important. It's the law. So,
yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. So in the military, on military bases, when you walk or run at certain times, like in the evenings, or there's lights, when there's not enough sunlight, they make you wear a reflective, something reflective. So
and a good friend of mine who's a nurse at Children said, always reminding people to wear their helmets when the kids, especially on the bikes. That's something that they're always telling people: just wear that helmet, wear that helmet. So
it does save your life.
Yeah.
So Chief Hart, I know we're, since you've been on board, there's a lot of transitions, trying to do a lot of great things, trying to move us into a world-class police department. Would you like to share some of the things we're doing?
Yeah, Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity. Always looking for ways to improve, right? And one of our relationships that we recently announced in June was our partnership with the Department of Justice COPS Office, Community Oriented Policing Services Office. We're engaging in an organizational assessment. So it's really a top-down assessment and deep dive into the organization and all aspects of the organization, identifying focus areas for improvement or reform, and then enacting their recommendations as they make them. So there's already some things that we've done and we have in process at the police department. This is a relatively new initiative. However, the team of 7 professionals from the Department of Justice have been on site twice now. They were just here in mid-July and interviewed all of our staff members, and we're looking for ways to improve the organization, our culture, our efficiencies, our operations. So we're really excited about getting this underway and having a stronger connection with the community, having a positive, healthy culture at our police department, and just moving forward.
Yeah, it's very positive. Actually, they interviewed me as well, and they go from top down, trying to, asking, see what the objectives, what our mission is for the city. It was very good. I'm looking forward to the changes and the recommendations they make. So Chief Brogan, I know that you guys have a lot of events coming up, now. Would you like to tell the residents?
So every summer we have our annual chili cook-off, and we moved it. It traditionally was in August. We've moved it to September, where the weather might be a little cooler. It might be more appropriate for a chili cook-off, and so it's going to be September 7th this year, and it's just a great charity event. It's for the Great Lakes Burn Camp, and I know we've talked about it before. It's for children who've been burned in fires. They get to have a camp where you have counselors there, and a lot of firefighters are there. It's just a great experience for them. It can be very expensive. We typically raise $10,000 that we donate to the camp every year, and this is going to be our 32nd annual. So we look forward to it. Just a fun event, a great family event, and we always talk about chili, but there's lots of other food there too, and there's music, lots of events for the kids. So it's just a fun time for everyone to come out.
So
Well,
very, very hot last year. Very hot. So
Well-
I'm glad you moved it. And I don't know. I think it's rigged, Mayor, because a firefighter won, and Mrs. Chief makes a really good chili. So
I tell you,
I don't know.
It was
I don't know what
amazing.
happened.
It was amazing, Chief.
Yeah.
I think it was rigged.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that nobody from the fire department
Yeah.
is on the
Yeah.
panel this year.
Yeah.
So I hope you enter it again, Chief, because
Yeah,
I'm looking
absolutely.
forward to it.
Always support a good cause. Always support a good cause. We have some things organically that are coming out of the police department. Is I think the fire department does an excellent job, right, connecting with the community and doing things, and raising money for charities. And we have a police officer who's kind of come forward with a Chrome Cops and Coffee concept that we hope to kick off sometime in September. So just kind of a little classic car show out in front of the police department and
love that.
kind of moving in the right direction on that community engagement. So maybe we'll give the fire department a run for their money someday.
Yeah, I think they can bring one of their fire trucks. I think that would classify as a classic
Yeah, that's
fire
right.
truck.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. It's been a really tough, challenging year. We got a lot of things we're working on. I know we have a lot of changes. I just want to let the residents know we have a lot of grants coming in. We have hardworking directors, both chiefs. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Trying to achieve our goal to propelling our city forward. We have a lot of grants that we're applying for. We're going to work on Acorns Creek. The end of this year, they're sending out quotes, to start cleaning up the debris, seeing what we need. Also, we're working with the Army Corps of Engineers on that project that they've been talking about for years. So they're doing the design work. So we got a lot of great things happening this year, and continue till the end of the year, and next year is going to be more exciting because we got a lot of grants, that we applied for, and we should hear something by the end of the year from the federal government. Again, please look out for each other, look out for your neighbor. If you have a senior citizen that lives next door, by themselves, please check on them all the time, just to make sure they're okay. If you don't see them, check on them, make sure they're okay. And if you guys need anything, you guys know my door is always open, and both chiefs are also their doors are open. Reach out anytime. We're here for you. Thank you, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the year.